And yeah, now we can start to doing a little like review about what we're doing in the last chapter, which is actually what we do is in creating the feeling of um, um, space, creating the feeling of make people feel like, oh, okay, this is a three-dimensional space, but at the same time we are also doing another thing because we are using a cubicle, we are using a square as our basis element to uh, uh, you know keep as our thing. So um you know uh, this is when we using any shape and form. The certain shape and form is actually uh, going to have some kind of gesture, or you can say flow. So is I mean for elements such as a square, a cubicle is pretty self explain. It's very quite easy to understanding, right? It just you see you follow this cubicle, you array your element from left to right or right to left, button to top or top to button, and you basically, if we are remove the outline of this shape, sorry, outline of the frame, still you're going to feel like this still looks like a cubicle. Yeah, basically we are try to do what we doing is just simply just just kind of follow what a cube will make people feel, which is this like the shape that kind of continually repeat itself, and we are going to follow this flow, this structure of a cube. And now I'm doing something which I would call enrichment, which is adding more element. But of course, um, I am adding the element along with the space, along with the y-axis, which is because I would say that this wall has the kind of gesture like push forward, uh, uh, push to certain direction. So right now I'm using quick tool. I think it's called Quick Deform. It's an add-on from Master Geometry 5 to help me to quick doing some adjustment. But basically yes, as you can see, I'm repeating the shape, repeating the form. Well, as also another cubical form along with the gesture of this wall, which is just along with the y-axis to repeat again and again and again. And you see this all the certainly uh 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 we got new things going on. I would say we got a lot of new proportion, new big, medium, and small uh area. The sorry, how to say it? Proportion, contract. You know, by introducing the new element. So I'm doing a little uh, 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 kind of infograph to try to talk about this idea. So yeah, you see, and of course, this is the a written a proportion of this colons and the wall. Those space start creating another layer of contract, another layer of uh, uh, proportion, another layer of well written. But this is something I will talk about, I think, maybe next chapter. talk about more. But right now, I'm trying to say is enrichment, which is how can we adding more stuff, but at the same time to make sense, right? Because again, um, in 3D we can adding stuff very easily, right? We can just moving thing, tweaking thing, duplicating thing. No one can stopping us to doing those. So if we got all those freedom to do, adding information, so how can we do it right? So this chapter is talk about, you know, what's the principle that we can follow, which is, when we adding new element, we can just follow the gesture, follow the flow of the shape. But of course, in this case, it's just a wall. It's quite simple, right? It's just you see that the wall is along with the y-axis to extending, and also because it's a cubicle or a square shape, so you can feel the flow. Just so well, we just along with the flow to adding new element, and also we are adding some new shape and phone language, which is still quite cubical. But of course, right now I'm adding this arch is a kind of a new language, but we can, yeah, for this I guess I will talk about this later. But this is an interesting element because still is quite and the arch is, I think, is a nice element to attach or bring a new language into the environment, but at the same time, it's a very classical architecture element. So it's till this point, I would say, still we kind of not out of control, and we can still make a lot of sense of it. Um, yeah. So yeah, I guess this chapter I'm a bit mumbling, but long story short, I would say this chapter is about how it's about enrichment. It's about when we had a war, a nice simple war that giving us the sense of space. So how can we follow this feeling and make it, more rich, more content, which is, enrichment. So yeah, this pretty much it. And see you in the next chapter.